Welcome to this Teaching English Abroad video. My name is Cindy Scharschmidt, and I'm the Director of Student Fellowships and Study Abroad in the Office of Global Affairs at the University of Washington, Tacoma. Please have either pen and paper or a computer handy so that you may take notes during this tutorial. Here's what we'll cover today. We'll take some time to reflect on what you may learn from teaching English abroad and help you decide which program to choose. I will share a few different specific opportunities for teaching English abroad and give examples of UW-Tacoma alumni who have participated in these programs. And at the end, I will share some resources for your application. But first, I would like you to take a few moments to reflect on this following question. Why are you interested in teaching English abroad? What is it that you hope to gain from being abroad? Feel free to take notes and be sure to pause the video and return to it after you're done reflecting on this question. If you're not sure yet where you'd like to teach English or which age group to work with, I suggest you take some time to ask yourself these questions. What is it that I'm hoping to learn, and where is the best place to do that? Is there a particular language that you're hoping to use? Is there any kind of research that you're hoping to do in addition to teaching English abroad that can best be done in a specific country? How long am I able to live abroad? Most of the programs we'll talk about today are 1 year long, but there are a few that are shorter and some that are longer. How safe is the country for me? Diversity Abroad has so-called diversity abroad guides for individual countries, and they were written with students who plan to study abroad in mind, but they can be useful for students who plan to teach English abroad as well. So I highly recommend you take a look. Which age group do I want to work with or already have experience with? How am I prepared for teaching English, or how can I prepare in case I don't have all the necessary skills yet? So those are just some questions that are designed to help you make a decision about which program to apply for. I'm sure there are others that you can think of that can help narrow down which country and or programs to apply for. Right, so there are lots and lots of programs for teaching English abroad out there, and they all have a few things in common, or rather the ones that we'll talk about today. They're all teaching assistant programs. That means you'll typically be paired with a licensed classroom teacher, and you're typically asked to engage students in conversation and help teach them about U.S. culture. All of these are paid opportunities. That means you'll receive a stipend or a salary, and in many cases airfare to and from the host country is included as well. Other benefits will vary by program. All of these programs are administered by either a government agency or a reputable or international organization. If you've done any research on your own already, you will notice that there are quite a few programs out there that are maybe not legitimate, or where you have questions about the legitimacy of an opportunity. If that's the case, feel free to reach out to me with the name of the organization, and I'm happy to share my insights and or talk to colleagues about whether or not that's a good opportunity to pursue. In addition to teaching English, these programs also emphasize cultural exchange. The programs will want to know that you are truly interested in engaging with the local communities where you'll be placed, and that really this is a two-way street where, yes, you'll be teaching English and sharing aspects of U.S. culture with your students and members of the host community, but that there's an equally strong sense that you would want to learn about the culture of the host country. Applicants must speak English at native level fluency. And most programs also require that you have a bachelor's degree by the time you go abroad. You can apply, though, for most of these programs in your senior year. And finally, all of these programs include some kind of orientation or training. The length of these trainings vary quite a bit, but you will receive some guidance before you're placed in a classroom. All right, so here's a first example. The North American Language and Cultural Assistance in Spain is a program offered by the Spanish Ministry of Education. You would be working as a teaching assistant in elementary, secondary, or language schools, and will be responsible for 12 to 16 class periods per week. The academic year in Spain starts in October and ends in late May. For this program, you'll need at least basic skills in Spanish, and the deadline is in April. But please note that applications are reviewed on a rolling basis, so don't wait until April to apply. Most spots would be filled by then. This is Carmen Valenzuela Berger. She's a 2014 graduate of UW Tacoma, and she spent a year in Badajoz, Spain in 2015-16 teaching English. And while I don't have a slide for her, Audrey Weber is a more recent graduate who just finished her degree at the end of academic year 2018, and she's currently in Galicia teaching English through this program. The Austrian Foreign Language Teaching Assistantship program is administered by the Ministry of Education in Austria. You'd be serving as a teaching assistant in secondary schools and would be responsible for facilitating language and cultural classes. A very explicit goal of this program is to promote mutual understanding between the U.S. and Austria. A working knowledge of German is required for this particular program, and you would be teaching about 13 class periods or hours a week, and the academic year also starts in October and ends in late May, just like in Spain. The application deadline is in January. Okay, time for another exercise. Please spend about 3 to 5 minutes writing down any qualifications or experiences that you bring to teaching. Think broadly here. These don't all have to be traditional tutoring or mentoring experiences. I've seen successful applications from students who have worked in restaurants and were responsible for training new staff. In their essays, they then made the case that those experiences helped prepare them to be effective teaching assistants in an English language classroom. I've also seen students who served in the military talk about their experiences supervising or training fellow soldiers. Again, think broadly about qualifications or prior experiences that would make you a good teaching assistant. By the way, in case you're wondering why I'm asking these questions, these are all going to be questions that you will need to answer when you apply to any of these programs. And so this is just designed to give you a head start and to start the creative juices flowing. The Hong Kong NET program is administered by the Education Bureau of Hong Kong. You would be serving as a teaching assistant in primary and secondary schools. And please note that this is a 2-year program. It starts and ends in August. This program also requires that you either have prior teaching experience or a so-called TEFL certification. TEFL stands for Teaching English as a Foreign Language. The application deadline is in January. Here's an opportunity to teach English in China. This program is offered by Buckland International Education Group, and you must have graduated with a bachelor's degree before you can participate in this opportunity. While not required, a TEFL certification will make you a more competitive applicant. This teaching assignment can be as short as 4.5 months, but contracts for a full academic year are also available. You'd be teaching at public elementary, junior high, or senior high schools. The deadlines are June 15th for a late August start and December 15th for a mid-February start. All right, I'm going to stop talking once again and give you an opportunity to take notes on the following question. How do the program and the country benefit from you being there? It's clear that you learn a tremendous amount from working and living in another country, but what's in it for the people of the host country? What do they gain from you being there? Once again, be sure to pause the video and return to it after you're done reflecting on this question. Teach English in Korea is offered by the Korean Ministry of Education. There are two separate programs, and you'll be teaching English at the elementary, middle, or high school level. The first program is the English Program in Korea, or EPIK, and students who want to apply for this opportunity must have a bachelor's degree and must pursue a TOEFL certification. Again, TOEFL stands for Teaching English as a Foreign Language. There's also a second program called Teach and Learn in Korea, or TALK. This one requires only an associate's degree and no TOEFL certification. You typically work 15 to 22 hours a week. I mean, teaching, I would say. And there are 2 deadlines per year. And here's another opportunity that is slightly different from the ones we've looked at so far. The Fulbright U.S. Student Program is sponsored by the U.S. Department of State, and this is a 1-year program that is available in over 70 countries, right? So unlike most of the other programs that are country-specific, this one is available in a variety of different places. But you still only apply for 1 country. The Fulbright program requires a campus interview, which I facilitate, and the campus deadline is typically in early September. Following are 2 examples of Fulbright recipients that were UW-Tacoma students. Lisa Garcia is a politics, philosophy, and economics graduate of UW-Tacoma, and she spent a year teaching English in Brazil. And this is Maxime Rusev, who graduated with degrees, both an undergraduate and a graduate degree in accounting, and spent a year as an English teaching assistant in Bulgaria. All right, another opportunity. Teach Thailand Corps is administered by the American Thai Foundation. They send teaching assistants to primary and secondary schools in underserved areas in Thailand, and you'd be teaching 15 to 22 hours a week. There are 2 deadlines per year, December and March, and the school year runs from June to March. All right, another question for you. What challenges, if any, do you anticipate? As you can imagine, living abroad for an extended period of time can be exhilarating and a powerful learning experience, but it also comes with challenges. So take a moment to think about what types of challenges you would anticipate, and maybe even also think about how you would overcome those challenges. Most of these programs will want to know that you're flexible and adaptable enough to not give up at the first sight of a challenge. So think about this a little bit ahead of time, and again, pause the video, take some notes, and resume the video once you're ready. All right, and the last example I want to talk about is the Princeton and Latin America program. This is a year-long postgraduate service fellowship. There are opportunities for teaching English through this Princeton and Latin America program, but there are other more community service-oriented work in public health and other sectors available as well. Applicants must be proficient in Spanish or Portuguese, and you also need to have some knowledge of and maybe experience in the region. And they're also looking for prior community service work. application deadline is in November. There's also a Princeton in Asia and a Princeton in Africa program. They work very similar to the Princeton in Latin America program, but there are separate applications with distinct deadlines, but they all are in the late October, early November range. If none of the programs that we talked about today interest you, and I know that's absolutely possible, you can email tscholar@uw.edu and request this PDF that includes opportunities for teaching English abroad, some of which we talked about today, some we didn't. And this is a 2-page document. I've included here just a screenshot of the first page of this document. Here are a few resources for you as you start working on your application. I am here to review and provide feedback on your application essays, so please be sure to reach out whenever you're ready, and I'll share contact information in a little bit. You're probably familiar with our Teaching and Learning Center. Their writing consultants are available to provide feedback on all kinds of writing, not just assignments or term papers, but they also are equipped to help you work on these sorts of applications for programs to teach English abroad. And then also another great resource is our Career Development Center. They can look at things like your resume, CVs, and cover letters. So those applications that require that you submit a resume or CV, make sure that you go talk to Career Development for feedback on those materials. This concludes today's video tutorial, and here is my contact information. I am in GWP 102, and you can reach me via email at tscholar@uw.edu, and I'm also on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you.